All right, I am calling to order this Nashua Board of Education meeting. It is Monday, November 28th, 2022. We are in the Nashua North Boardroom, and it is 6:02 p.m. Ms. Raymond is out tonight. She's not feeling well, so Ms. Brown will be doing clerk. Can you do roll call, please?
Certainly. Christina Darling?
Here.
Neil Claffey?
Here.
Sharon Giglio?
Here.
Miss Raymond and Miss Lamphere are not here this evening. Jessica Brown is here. Miss Oden?
Here.
Paula Johnson?
Present.
Jen Bishop?
Here.
All right. We have a quorum.
Okay, we also have Dr. Andrade, Mr. Pasca, and Dr. Sarfty. For Pledge of Allegiance, well, actually, you'll do the prayer, and then, Ms. Darling, can you lead us in the pledge?
Sure. Yes.
Yeah, I know, I was just waiting for Jess with the prayer. Oh, Ms. Lamphere is here. It is 6:03.
I'm sorry, I'm late.
That's okay.
All right. Almighty God, we have the high honor and serious duty of managing the educational institutions of our beloved city. In our common endeavors, may we find a spirit of unity and understanding which will enable us to face our multiple problems with an objective mind, with justice and charity for all, so that any and all decisions made by us will be for the betterment and greater happiness of all our fellow citizens. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have no presentations this evening, bringing us right up into the consent agenda. Can I have a motion to accept the consent agenda, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Giglio.
Second.
Thank you for seconding, Ms. Lamphere. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
Okay. And this brings us right up to our first public comment period. Thank you, Mr. Claffey. We're a well-oiled machine now. Remember, first public comment is for items on the agenda. We have a 15-minute time limit, but if we need more time, I will be looking for a motion to extend. If everybody could keep their comments to 3 minutes or less, and refrain from extraneous noise from the audience. Thank you very much. First up, we have Moira Harrigan. Sorry. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Maura Harrigan. I have been living and teaching in Nashua for over 25 years. I thought it was very important for you to hear a teacher's perspective on why the paraeducators are the heartbeat of our schools. I have had the high privilege to work with many, many talented and dedicated paraeducators. This year I happen to have the NEFI Para Award winner again in my classroom. Our paraeducators are the heartbeat of our classrooms because they work side by side with us to really figure out the needs of each student in our classroom. They really give us that extra set of eyes, that extra set of expertise to help us academically and emotionally to provide that for our children. I've been trying to think of how to describe it to people who don't have that relationship, teacher and para, and Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson come to mind, because without Watson, Holmes isn't really solving every little piece of the mystery, and that's what our paraeducators do for us as teachers. They are truly the heartbeat of our classrooms. The other thing I wanted to talk about is why it is urgent that you negotiate a fair contract with fair wages for our paraeducators. As of now, we have 77 para vacancies from what I've heard. I know of just in my school some paraeducators who have gone to districts nearby just within the past month who offer more, a stronger pay per hour, They give them, the paraeducators, enough hours to work so that they qualify for a pension when they retire. Their medical package is stronger, and we're losing out because those schools obviously know that the paraeducators are the heartbeat of our schools. And with them leaving, our heartbeat in Nashua, where I have spent my entire profession here, and I absolutely love, I had my own child go through these schools. Our heartbeat is weakening because we're losing these paraeducators. And our veterans are now looking and talking amongst themselves of where they could go, where they could continue the profession they love and be treated fairly, because they do feel undervalued. And that breaks my heart because I know how valuable they are. Honestly, the paraeducators I have worked for, and if you're watching, you all know who you are, have been gold to me in my classroom and to my students. So please, I urge you to do this as soon as possible so our heartbeat doesn't get weaker. We all know what happens when the heartbeat is gone. Please don't let that happen to Nashua. Thank you.
Roberta Desjardins. And don't forget name and address, please. Sorry, I forgot that the first time around.
My name is Roberta Desjardins, 41 New Searles Road, Nashua, New Hampshire. First, I'd like to thank you all for allowing us to speak with you tonight, and especially for readjusting your own schedules so that those of us who need to tell you what we need to tell you can just do it and be prepared for tomorrow's workday. First of all, I'd like to give you a little perspective about who I am as a person. Not because this is all about me, because it certainly is not all about me. It's about everyone who is gathered here tonight. First, I am just a little perspective. I am a Nashua native, not many of us left around here. And I am in my 29th year as an employee of the Nashua School District. I am first and foremost a mom whose son went through the Nashua School District just as I did. I am a wife whose husband is here tonight in support of me and everyone else here. I am a taxpayer. Now please let me mention how much I hate pulling the taxpayer card. I don't like to do that. However, having just received our tax bills, wow, are we taxpayers. I am a friend. I hope I'm a good one. I am a coworker. I am a part of the para-contract negotiation team. I am a para-educator. But do you know what else I am? According to the recent negotiations, I am a cost item. I'm a cost item. Collectively, all those gathered here tonight, paras, maybe secretaries alike, are all cost items. To clarify, in addition to the above names that I have already mentioned, I am also a lunch monitor, a recess monitor, a substitute teacher, who on any given day could be pulled to teach a class with children whom I really don't know from Adam. Sorry, Adam. Which in turn removes me from the IEP students to whom I was originally assigned, out of compliance. I am certainly not alone, but as that substitute, although compensated for my time, I will not be paid the same rate as a substitute who would have been hired by the firm recently appointed by the Nashua School District. Why? Because I'm a cost item. And while I'm on the subject, not that you have any control over any behaviors of anyone, but I want to know how unprofessional you believe it is for some of those substitutes to actually go up to paraeducators and teachers, or mostly paraeducators, and say to them, why would I ever approach anyone for a para position in the Nashua School District when I can make twice as much as you are if I substitute 2 or 3 times a week? How unprofessional is that? Definition of negotiation, according to Webster: to discuss, so as to agree upon, to arrange for. At a recent negotiation session prior to our declaring impasse, proposals brought forth to the table were those that would give paras and the secretarial unit incentive to remain in the positions that we are so now dedicated to. Now, rest assured, when we hear, but it's for the children, no one, repeat, no one is going to deny that. But we, as homemakers, parents, and in some cases, caretakers in this economy, we too have our own cost items that we need to address as well. Mortgage payments, rents, car payments, skyrocketing grocery expenses, utility costs, gasoline, which, by the way, transports us to our respective jobs each day. And then, of course, we have those people who are literally writing checks to the city of Nashua to make up for the insurance premiums which cannot be covered by their wages. Various living costs are prohibiting us from living comfortably. You may ask, and you have the right to, am I a proponent of living within my means? Resoundingly, yes, I am. But the fact also remains that one needs to have a means by which to live. Yet, we are deemed to be cost items to this city, even without the retirement plan in place, as in some districts. What a bang for your buck, your loyal employees. So some over 30, close to 40 years, and not provide for their dedication when their careers come to a close. Nor do we get the exact amount that we should for our sick time. We don't get half of that. Well, no doubt some of you may say, perhaps another endeavor for your livelihood might be in order. If you're not happy, leave. But you know what? That's not the case. What is in order is that the worth of all these professions is being profoundly, profoundly underestimated. Now, let me preface what I am about to say with a clarification, and I'm coming to a close very soon. I am by no means suggesting, planting seeds, or doing anything that is in the breach of any contract, or in this case, non-existing contracts. But food for thought, please. What would happen if on any given day, approximately 340 paras and 75 secretaries were absent from their jobs? Would the schools open? Absolutely. I have no doubt in my mind that the schools would open. But the question is, how would they function? Who would answer the phone calls from the parents? Who would serve the children whose IEPs would once again be out of compliance? Who would manage the behaviors that are part of a regular day for paras? What would that day look like? Teachers are extremely dedicated to their profession, but they need our support. We work in a collaborative effort. Teachers, paras, secretaries, food service people, janitorial services. All these units collaboratively make up your Nashua School District in each and their own respective schools. Do I epitomize the perfect para? Again, resoundingly no. I'm not looking for perfection. But my worth, along with everyone else who was in this auditorium tonight, could be far better measured. Instead of telling us in an email once a year, oh, it's Para-Educator Day, how valued you are. Prove it to us. Show us. I'm going to close tonight with 2 quotes that I have recently read in a book of inspirational poems and writings that I have been going through. The first one is to my friends and my coworkers and my colleagues here tonight. If you want to add up your personal worth, stop giving other people the calculator. And secondly, to those who underestimate our value in this district, the problem isn't that we think so highly of ourselves. It's that you just think so little of us. We need a contract. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we're coming up to the end of our first 15 minutes, and that was our second person. If we could keep it to the 3 minutes that I had asked for, that would be fantastic. I'll start putting a timer on just to make sure that we stay on board. I see everybody's coming with notes that you've prepared, so I'm assuming when you prepare that you put it to the 3 minutes. So I'll just help remind you. I want to make sure that everybody's heard and that we don't miss anybody's important points. So we'll do one more, and then I'll ask for a motion to continue on, okay? So June Zacconi, sorry.
Joan Zacconi.
Thank you
Joan
for
Zacconi.
correcting that.
26 Johnson Street. I actually live in Milford, a block away from their high school, where I know they pays more. But I've worked in the Nashua School District for 22 years because my heart belongs to Nashua. So I stay in Nashua even though I'm not recognized my worth, like all of us, all the people behind me. But my heart belongs to Nashua, and I want to make it the gateway to opportunity that it has tried to publicize in our public arena. Why am I here? Because I got tired of being told, tell the person that can make a difference. I complain and complain and complain, and so to make it go a little smoother, I brought some show and tells. So I'm going to hand those out because that'll make things go a little bit smoother and a little bit quicker.
If you want to just give them to Miss Oden, she can pass them around because we can't hear you when you're not mic'd up.
Sorry, I only planned for 12. I'm sorry, my friend. So share with a friend. Okay. There we go. All right, why am I here? Because I am addressing the para-sub-equity problem that has been touched on already.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can hear me. I'm going back and forth. I'm a little bit nervous.
Yeah, you need to stay in front of the mic or
Still.
it's like, remember in
Used
this,
to performing and moving around. Okay.
no, we're very sedentary
But
here.
after you get my little sweet hand, you'll see what I'm addressing here. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? All right. Here, I see some heads nodding. Yeah. You love this, right? Yeah. All right. That seemed a little sarcastic. No? Tell them what you think, darling. Okay. My turn to keep it short. All right. Page 1. You see.
Yep, you have about a minute and a half left. So
I work at Nashua North, so I got to talk on block scheduling. So if I sub for a teacher 1 block on day 1, 1 block on day 2, 1 block on day 3, and day 4, you see it all adds up to $56 for my work. Shall we turn the page? Now, if I do all those same blocks on one day, my rate of pay somehow changes and I get a $46. So that equity kind of goes out the window. And it doesn't make sense at all to me. That's why I've been complaining to the people who can't seem to make a difference. So that's why I'm here tonight. And then if you think about your sub-pay that does not know the students they're working with and has to ask us, the paras who works with these students every day, how do you deal with them? And you pay them $90 a day, where I can get the highest I can get if I do at high school. If I also sub for the E block, I can get as high as $50 a day. So that's it. That's all I came here to say. something for you to mull over, look at. You can take home and study it tonight and get back to me later and get back to the rest of us. Thank you very much for your time and your patience. Thank you.
Next up, we have Jean Steinowitz. Am I reading that right? Stanowitz?
Stanowitz.
Okay.
My name is Jean. I've been a para at Sunset Heights in an intensive need classroom for 8 years now. Can I have all my paras please stand up? Can you turn around? Just turn around.
Oh, again, you need to stay with the mic or
You
that
don't
doesn't
see
pick
our
up.
capes, but we wear them. We're superheroes. We might not be able to stop a speeding car, but we can stop a child from bolting out of a classroom. We're superheroes. We may not be able to run faster than a train, but we can de-escalate a situation in our classroom very quickly. We're superheroes. We can't magically heal a wound, but we can comfort a distraught or confused student in magical ways. We're superheroes. We can't transform ourselves physically, but we can instantly become a student's eyes, ears, voice when they need us to be. We're superheroes. We're not strong enough to pick up a car, but we can easily transport a student. We're superheroes. Unlike superheroes, we don't make ourselves invisible, but we feel invisible to others. No one sees all the jobs we do every day. We adapt the environment that our students are in to fit their ongoing needs. We inspire our students with encouraging words. You got this, you can do it, I'm here to help you. We all do this together. We use these reassuring words on a regular basis every day. We help with the teachers, we help with coping skills. Sometimes coping skills fail and we get hit, kicked, bit, hairs pulled on a daily basis in our classroom. But we come back the next day and we encourage our students that, it's a new day. We all start new. I welcome any one of you to come shadow us for a day. Come in our classroom, walk in our shoes. We'll be glad to give you our cape, because I'm sure you don't have one. We have them. I'm sure at the end of your day with us, you will agree that our salaries do not fairly compensate us for the tasks that we are assigned. In addition to our daily para assignments and obligations to our students, some paras also assist other staff. They cover lunches, specialists, recess, classrooms, and never hesitate to do the jobs that they're asked to do. Most paras work additional jobs to make ends meet. I go to another job every day. I do my para job, I go to work every night. I see my college-age student 2 hours a night. I work on weekends. I have 3 jobs to make ends meet. That's not fair. I have received an increase of $2 an hour over the 8 years of my working in Nashua. The cost of living has increased approximately 26% over the last decade, nearly 13% in the last year alone. I must question where I will be moving forward. I'm one of those paras wondering where I'm going to be next year. I'm looking. I love my classroom, my fellow paras, my teacher, my students. They're my family. But I'm forced to seriously look at my future in Nashua. Before you start negotiating, take a minute, read my shirt. It truly says it all. Beside, not behind. Beside every good teacher is an amazing paraprofessional, and we're all amazing. I've been using the word para through my whole speech as a nickname for paraprofessional. One definition of the word professional is someone who does a job that requires special training, education, or skill. 3 superhero characteristics are power, ability, morality, and sympathy. We're all of these. Please consider giving the superhero paraprofessionals, employees of the Nashua school system, the compensation that we deserve. They are earning it every day, and we truly deserve it. Thank you.
Thank you. Marcy Schoeneman. Did she leave? Marcy Schoeneman?
I didn't hear you.
Yeah,
My
it's
name-
hard to hear over clapping. Sorry.
My name is Marcy Schoeneman. I am a para-educator at Charlotte Ave. I'm a resident of Nashua, up 16 Bay Meadow Drive. I have 2 children in the school district, one about to graduate this year and a young one in the elementary school. I am fairly new to being a para-educator. But I just wanted to speak. I mean, I don't have a prepared speech on the heels of all these wonderful speakers, but I just wanted to say that I entered being a para because I wanted to support our wonderful educators, because I saw the need, and I truly support the idea that every teacher, every classroom in our district deserves a para educator. I'm currently working mostly with a one-on-one who requires my time to be in the classroom and to be able to succeed to the best of his abilities with me as his one-on-one. I work with so many other paras at Charlotte Ave that it pains me to know that they then have to leave the school and they're going on to a second or a third job and not able to see their children most days of the week. So I'm just here to urge you to approve a fair contract for myself and all of them. So, thanks.
Thank you. Lisa Thibodeau? Please correct me when you get up here.
Lisa Tabando.
Tabando.
Yep.
Sorry.
21 West Hobart Street, Nashua, New Hampshire. Mine's just very short. I don't know how much you all are really aware of the type of injuries and the stuff that we go through. I'm an intensive need paraprofessional, which is kind of a horse of a little different color. And any of us here that are will know a lot of what I'm speaking of. We go through, these are a list of some of the injuries that I've seen in the years that I've been here or experienced myself. Torn rotator cuffs, torn meniscus, concussions, bites, to the breaking skin bites, scratches, some causing serious infections that people are going to the doctors for and on meds for. Some of those injuries, I can speak for myself on a couple that I had. Still, one I got my first year, one my third year. I'm going into my 15th year, and they still affect me in the way that I move and the way that I deal with the pains that I deal with, which I believe will probably be with me the rest of my life. And the same with many of my fellow
Coworkers.
Yes, thank you. We're also exposed up close and very personal to our students with, not to be blunt, but with diarrhea, vomiting. When they're sick, there's no space, none. We're right up there with them all the time. So we're exposed a lot more than a lot of people in other jobs to being sick. Not to mention COVID, which we all worked through. And before, when COVID first came out, if you had to stay home with COVID, then they didn't take it out of off of your 10-day sick days, which actually doesn't even cover the number of sick days. We go a lot of days without pay because we're sick from our job. But now, going forward, you don't even, now that's taken out of your 10 days of sick time. I mean, then that's half your sick time gone, just if you get COVID, not to mention anything else. And I just wanted to make sure that you all were aware of that. The other thing is, because of the lack of paras, it affects us greatly. We do not have enough staff a lot of times to cover what we need to cover, so we are working half again, sometimes twice as hard at our job as in comparison to if we were fully covered the way we're supposed to be covered. We definitely aren't getting any extra money for that. So I just want to make sure that you know those kind of things about our job. Everybody else is covering everything else fine, but I thought you should know that before considering, what to do with those.
Thank you. So I'm looking for a motion to extend public comment by another 15 minutes.
I move to extend the comments for another 15 minutes.
Thank you, Ms. Gilio. Seconded by Ms. Oden. All those in favor of extending another 15 minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next person up, oh, the alarm, hold on. Next person up is Susan Regula. Did I do it right?
My name is Susan Regula, 13 Shaw Circle, and I am a paraeducator in the Nashua School District. In 1999, I was primarily hired to work with identified children who needed academic support. Little did I know that 23 years later, I would be going over and above my day-to-day duties with surprises thrown in as the day goes on. Throughout these years, I have experienced 5 different reading, writing, and math programs, and at least 3 science programs. Let me make this clear. Paras receive no training for any new curriculum. We listen and learn with the students so we can reinforce what the teacher is explaining. But while I listen, I scan the room to see if the students are engaged in learning. I redirect, remove distractions, and calm apprehensive students, all the while making sure my notes are correct. My knowledge of curriculum evolves and grows every year, is an asset I and many paras bring into the classroom every year. But today, we do more than work with small groups and assist children with their lessons. Here are some of the larger highlights I have experienced from August of 2021 until now. Due to the lack of substitute teachers in our districts, paraeducators are asked to fill in. So far, I have substituted 123 times, ranging from 30 minutes to a full day. During these times, I never babysit. Per the teacher's subnotes, I could teach math, reading, writing, science, art, music, gym, computer, library, and anything else that might come up. I handle attendance, lunch count, student disagreements, lost homework, missed buses, fistfights, bullying. The list goes on. Furthermore, due to the lack of lunch monitors, paraeducators are asked to fill in. Besides supervising the lunchtime, we clean tables and cover lunch recess. At the elementary level, that is 40 minutes of coverage. I must remind everyone here that when a para is asked to cover a class or a lunch, that person is not servicing identified students. This is a no-win situation for the students who need us the most. Paraeducators go over and above what is expected of them. We do what we do for low wages and little benefits. We need a contract that will support us financially, since many paras work more than one job to survive. We need to feel respected by more than the people we work with. We need respect from all of you. We are a vital part of the school community. Classrooms cannot function without us. Start compensating paraeducators for all the important work we do. Thank you.
Thank you. Jennifer Ryan.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Ryan, 7 Harvard Street, Nashua, New Hampshire. I just wanted to come briefly and speak with you guys. I work in intensive needs. I'm a paraeducator. We have a teacher in our school, 2 teachers who are covering one whole class because there is no teacher. Our teacher can't do the things that she needs to do in the class, so we are the ones responsible to help her get through the day. She is probably still currently at the school right now working, and I don't think that's fair to the teacher, but it's also not fair to us. I can show you the scars, the current infection that I am dealing with on my hand from a child who stabs. We get bit, kicked, punched, hair pulled, and we are just told to shake it off and come back the next day. And we do. We all do. I work 3 jobs. I barely see my 7-year-old who goes to bed by the time I'm home. And it's sad because I basically see him in the morning when I bring him to school, and then maybe for 5 minutes when I drop him off before I have to go to my next job. I have an older one I never see either. It shouldn't be like this. We shouldn't have to work 3 jobs. We shouldn't. I mean, they can all attest to it. A lot of them work. We just want to be respected and acknowledged when people are in our schools and they're walking around and they just don't acknowledge anybody, especially a para, because Like one of our friends said, we're a cost item. I deal with diapers, feeding, because I have a child who can't swallow. We have to clean up messes if they vomit. We are, like I said, getting hit, bit, kicked. We have to deal with behaviors. And some of our children that are in our schools should not be there because they have behaviors way outside of the spectrum we're allowed to work. We are constantly in a state of noncompliance because we don't have coverage to cover for lunches. I go days where I don't take a lunch. I will eat with the kids in the classroom because if there's no one there to cover, then it's a free-for-all of kids running around, and that's not legal. And I wouldn't do that to any of these children. I would never put a child in a situation where they were unsafe. We get pulled from classes to go cover other classes in gen ed classes or in other intensive needs rooms and work with other children, leaving our room short. And again, in noncompliance. I sometimes have to stay after. I clock out at my normal time, but I stay after to help my teacher in my classroom because she is so overwhelmed with the work she has to do. And that's not fair to her. But I'm just saying, we're worth more. We should be given the same respect that everybody requires. I would never disrespect any one of you, and I would never disrespect any one of these ladies in this room, or gentlemen, because they do the real job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Bishop, may I say something? I just got a scroll across my phone here saying that people watching Channel 99, there's no sound. So I just want to let Jimmy know that there's no sound. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Paula. Deborah Edna, it's not Adaso, Adaso, is that a C-I-K?
Adazic.
Or, it's just you made it up here.
I'm known as Mrs. A in school.
Mrs. A, okay. Can I call you that?
Yes, you can.
Thanks.
My name's Deborah Adazic. I live at 5 Teak Drive in Nashua. I've lived in Nashua for 42 years. I raised 3 boys in the Nashua school system. All 3 went on to college. I felt and still believe that then we had the best school district in the state. I can't say that today. I come here tonight to express my feelings. And this has been a really difficult, emotional year, not just for me, but for every parent who's sitting here in this auditorium. We were darn strong through COVID. We made it through, and we are proud of that. It was not easy. Nobody trained us to do it. We just pulled up our big boy pants, and we did it. We searched. We found out how to do it on our own, because there was no one here to tell us how to do our job. I've been a para at Mount Pleasant. I've been in the school district over 30 years as a para educator. I value my role as a para. But in the years that I have worked here, I have seen major changes, and the expectations that are given to paras is just unrealistic. We're not teachers, and we don't want to take that role. Because if we did, we would be teaching. We decided to become paras to help the teachers, to be their sidekick, to teach those math and English lessons and language arts and the ABCs and their numbers to the children who struggle. I take great pride in teaching strategies to those children who struggle every day. Did anyone offer me the curriculum to learn that new math program or the new language arts program? Oh, and don't forget the writing program. And it goes on and on. No, I had to find out how to do that on my own. Shame on this district. But because paras are go-getters, we figured it out on our own. It's not just learning one grade level of math or language arts. It could be learning 3, 4, 5 different grades, maybe all of them in the elementary. Because my day starts at the morning in the front door, greeting everyone that comes in. Then I go to second grade. I'm there for 45, 50 minutes. Then I leave, I go to kindergarten. I'm not a behavior para, but I work with a child who has major behavior problems. I get hit, I get bit, spit on, kicked, screamed at, clothes torn or cut, but I go back every day. The behavior students are not just in the intensive care rooms. They're in every classroom. We're not trained, and it's not feasible for these children to be there. None of us have been trained in the building to deal with some of the things we are dealing with. Again, I said how much I value what I do. By the end of the day, I hope that I have given my students that I work with one of two things, if not both. A safe place to be, and that I'm a safe person for them to talk to. Or that I have given them a strategy that'll make that next lesson a little easier for them. Or that, oh, they're like, I can do this. That is what makes me go into that room every day. I'm not a lunch monitor. I was not hired as a lunch monitor. I do not get paid to be a lunch monitor. I am not a gym teacher. I am not a music teacher. I teach all of them because I, too, have had to go in and sub for every class that you can imagine. Computers. And I'm the worst for computers, I'll admit it. Oh, the kids are teaching me. I'm on the parent negotiating team. I am begging you, listen to what we have said to you tonight. Look at where we have come and where we are. We deserve better. And we have to get up out of our seats, and we have to make sure we start with the paras and give us a fair wage and compensate us for the work that we do, because we are here to help make you a better school district.
Could you talk into the mic? You're talking away from the mic. Thank you.
Sorry.
You need to help us. You need to help this city get back our great Nashua School District we had. I have to tell you and be honest. I have one grandchild left right now in this school district, and I can't wait till he's out of it because you were failing him. It's not the teachers, it's not the paras, it's the district, because we are not getting the support we need. Thank you for listening. Please, please, give us a fair shake. We are awesome.
Thank you. We have 3 more, but I need another motion to extend another 15 minutes.
I move that we extend another 15 minutes.
Thank you, Ms. Gilio. Seconded by Ms. Oden. Thank you. All those in favor of extending, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. What? Oh, I thought you had something to say to me. Okay, so getting reminded by Jimmy to speak into the mic when we speak. which mean like literally like into the mic. It's really obnoxious. Leticia Meehan.
Hi, everyone. I'm Letitia Bean. I'm an intensive needs teacher at Maine Dunstable. This is my 10th year in the district, and I have spoken to you guys before, so most of you probably remember I've taught in 5 states. Absolutely thrilled when I got here at the para support. And I have to tell you, I cannot do my job effectively without these people. I just can't. And I've done it in other states, and I've had 12 kids and 1 para, and we've all been in physical danger all day, and the kids get taught minimally. And here, kids make progress. I had a little girl come into my classroom last year who was hitting people every day, who was spending all her time in an intensive needs classroom, and yet her academic abilities were on grade level. Not okay. So, being a slightly crazy person, I put her in the regular classroom in August. I set up her desk and all her AV equipment that she needs in a regular classroom. And I said, this kid is going to make it in a regular classroom. And my confidence came not only from my own expertise, but because I knew I had an excellent para who would be calm, who would be kind, and who would be consistent every day with this child with a behavior plan. We have BCBAs in this district for which I'm very grateful. Thank you. They can't make a dent stopping by once a week. The dent they make is by training a para in a behavior protocol, and then that para implements it 5 days a week, 6.5 hours a day with consistency and compassion. That's how our BCBAs make a difference. Our speech paths cannot make a dent with 30 to 60 minutes of therapy a week if our paras don't implement protocols to work on kids' articulation errors, to work on kids' grammar. Our OTs and our PTs routinely create protocols for paras to implement. They can't be effective without these paras because kids need to do their protocols 3 to 5 days a week. And we as a district can't afford to pay an OT to do that. And we don't need an OT to do that because these people have the expertise to implement a protocol once an OT or a PT develops it. When I had a student who came to my class and stayed with me for 2 months, barely knew the child, lots of needs. He went out of remission with leukemia. He spent the next 3 years fighting for his life. And I had to stay and teach my kids. So what did I do? I developed lessons, and I handed them to a para who went to his house, cried with his mother, talked to his dad, was consistent with that child, was tough with him, kind, but no, you're going to get up off this couch, and you're going to do what we have to do today, and you're going to get your iPad out, and you're going to do your spelling. And gave that kid a reason to live, something to do besides suffer, right? 3 years she stuck with that child. She's still friends with the family. And the support she provided for that mother, who is one of my heroes, by the way, was absolutely priceless. I couldn't do it. I had to stay at school. Every day that that child was not in the hospital, that woman was at that child's house, working with him. And he was not an easy child. He was an aggressive child at times. She went with me on outside of school hours in spite of the fact that she also works 3 jobs to support her family. Went to Boston to visit that child in the hospital. Still visits him. Doesn't miss his birthdays. You know, it's priceless. You know, my child who was out of the classroom, I don't see her. I go days without seeing her. But she would fail without the para. She's in the regular classroom, learning the academics of the regular kids, and someday that kid will go to college. But only because she has a para to be in that room with her who can handle her behavior, who can get her out of that classroom when she escalates because she's a highly traumatized child. Then she becomes aggressive and it's not safe, and that para can get her out calmly. Okay? Well, many of these folks have talked about the injuries they've suffered. Why did they come back? Because they have a deep understanding of the function and the origin of those behaviors, and they don't take them personally. They don't say, oh, that child bit me, how dare he? Oh, he yelled at me after all I've done for him. We don't hear that, because they understand where the behavior comes from. Okay? They gather data for us so that we can even develop a plan that makes sense for a child. I learned the function of children's behavior through the data that these women and men take for us. Okay? They're highly skilled. Someone up here said we have 77 openings. I'm sad to tell you it's become 78. Para came to me with tears in her eyes today and gave me her 2-week notice. She's been hired. She's working in another district through an outside agency. Her raise is over $10 an hour, and they're matching her 403B contributions. I have another para who, on her own time in the summer, got Orton-Gillingham training, which is the most research-based way of teaching reading to children who need reading.
Take to the mic.
Okay. She now works in Massachusetts. She has retirement. She has a much higher salary. I sent you all an email about 2 weeks ago. We're wasting money. We're hiring outside agencies to bring us paras who are less trained. Those paras are letting their hourly rate be known to our paras. They're not CPI trained. So when a child begins to act out, who that para is working with, who's paid a lot more than these guys, they have to step in and take the brunt of that behavior because they're CPI trained. Okay? So there's so much, guys.
Sorry, Ms. Meehan, get to the mic.
But please, I beg of you, I'm not really up here to beg you to give them what they're asking for. I'm asking you to do something crazy. I'm asking you to give them more than they're asking for. Because we're in a cascading crisis. "78 openings is only the beginning if we don't do something drastic. And if the paras all go, we teachers can't last without them. It's not a threat, guys, it's just a fact. I can't do my job without them. I am begging you. I'm begging you to do something amazing here.
Thank you. Gary Hoffman.
Gary Hoffman, 38 Perham Street, Nashua, New Hampshire. I'm a teacher at Fairgrounds Middle School. Been teaching in the district for 20 years. And on Thursday, the district negotiating team has an opportunity to settle this contract with the mediators. And I suggest you do it this week because we cannot wait another week without settling this contract. Do it this week and do the right thing. As Letitia said, people are voting with their feet. I checked this afternoon. We have 16 openings in instructional paras, 7 preschool para openings, 46 district-wide para openings, 8 Title I para openings, 77 in total, and as Letitia said just a moment ago, we got another this afternoon. Why are they leaving? Well, I took a look at the pay schedule. How are we not attracting people? Well, you know, we're starting instructional paras in this district at $14.44 an hour. I mean, I'm driving around and I see, you know, fast food restaurants offering a lot more than that. Technical paras at $14.88, district-wide at $15.28. And they have a very progressive schedule. It takes 26 years to get to the top step. 26, come on, guys. And even after 26 years, it's like $6.50 more. I'm on the special education task force because last year the teachers came here and said special ed and ELL, they're in trouble. One of the reasons why they're having such a tough time is because we have so many openings. And Letitia explained all the stuff that they do. And the special educators are leaving too. We got 4 openings at the high school in special ed, 7 at the middle school, 3 at the elementary school in special ed. For ELL, we have 6 openings at elementary, 3 in the middle school, 3 at the high school. We cannot wait. Settle this contract. Do it Thursday. Do the right thing. Thank you.
Thank you. Jerry Ann Guerin.
Hi. Extremely nervous, so excuse me. My name is Jerry Ann Guerin. I live at 5 Summit Street, Nashua. I have a son that comes here to North. We've gone through the district. I want to thank you for your time, for listening for the paras in this district. Now we hope you really hear us. We hear the needs of our students. We hear the needs of our teachers. We hear the needs of our administrators. Now we hope the district hears what we need. Do we not deserve the benefits the others in the district getting? This is not fair. We work with some of the most difficult children, children with disabilities, children with cognitive, physical, emotional. They would not succeed without our help. We give them our all, our support, the tools they need to succeed. Paras give classroom teachers the capabilities to keep running smoothly while they help those children that need them. Our guidance, support, and techniques we use are valued community that the district needs, for we are a necessity and are worth what we are asking for. Can you imagine a classroom without us? Well, ask those teachers what it's like when a para that they works with in their classroom is not in, or is being used as a substitute where else, which paras do on a fly. The classroom does not flow the way it should. The student support system fails. Those on an IEP cannot get the extra required by the law. We ask for what we deserve, the same as others working in the district. Are we not as valuable as the custodians, the kitchen staff, or the secretaries? We all work together as a team. They have better benefits than us. We pay outrageous amounts of a difference. I should not have to pay anything extra. I can't. We're also asking for staying in the district pay. The district is fighting us on how much. Are we not worth that amount? We are part of a puzzle called the educational support. Please give us what we deserve. Thank you.
Regan, can you put this in the book?
Yes, give it to Jess. Okay, thank you all for that and allowing us to extend so that we can hear everybody. I appreciate it. We are moving on from first public comment into superintendent's comments. So I will be giving the floor to Dr. Andrade.
Thank you, Madam President. First, I just want to recognize all the speakers and for speaking tonight, for your courage and your commitment and dedication to our students and your open remarks tonight. So I really appreciate the honesty, and I'm hoping that we can come to a resolution on Thursday as well. So really, really appreciate you coming out tonight and again, sharing your thoughts and feelings. Want to talk about the reopening of the Franklin Street School. It was a great day today at Franklin Street as our teachers and staff welcome back our preschoolers and our Brentwood Academy high school students to a newly renovated building. Thank you to the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Nashua who housed our students while renovations were taking place this fall. And thank you to all our families for their understanding and flexibility while we were in transition. We are thrilled to be back at Franklin Street. Kudos to all the staff who worked steadily to be sure our classes were packed, unpacked, set up, and ready for our students. A lot of effort. Thank you. I want to recognize several of our students for some Coca-Cola Scholarship semifinalists. One happened to be here tonight. Congratulations to 3 Nashua High School SELT seniors who were named recently as Coca-Cola Scholars Foundation Scholarship finalists: Kashin Ngandi, Lakita Suri Tavaridi, and Samay Sahu, who's wrapping up his term as the next month's as SELT's representative to the board. The 3 are among about 1,500 students nationwide who were selected from more than 91,000 applicants to move forward for the scholarship process. Only 14 of the 1,500 were from New Hampshire and 9 from public schools. So congratulations. They are also competing to be one of only 150 Coca-Cola Scholarship Foundation Award recipients who will each receive a $20,000 college scholarship. We wish the 3 well as they hope to advance through the selection process. Good luck.
Yeah.
Well deserved. I also would like to acknowledge the work of 2 second-year video production and broadcasting students who really stepped up and worked together to produce and air the New Hampshire Board of Education meeting last Thursday, November 10th, at Pennachuck. Pennachuck hosted the meeting, and the site does have its broadcasting challenges, but the students navigated those challenges perfectly. Our thanks to Piper Burns, a senior at Nashua North, and Kylie Susi, a senior at Nashua South. Our thanks to Jeff Leone, their video production and broadcasting teacher, for all his assistance as well. The State Board chose to meet at Pennachuck to see firsthand the renovations underway, and we were proud to host. We appreciate the faculty and staff for hosting. It was great to see Pennachuck Middle School students lead in the Pledge of Allegiance at the meeting. Again, thank you. The Purple Panther Preschool celebrates 50 years. Congratulations to the Purple Panther Preschool for celebrating 50 years of teaching our youngest learners. During the week before Thanksgiving, several administrators, teachers, and current preschool families gathered to mark the milestone. It amazed me to learn that several of our staff are Purple Panther Preschool alumni, including Keith Richard. He might have said he was around the first or second class there, but I'm not saying anything. The preschool is noted for offering consistently exceptionally child-to-teacher ratios to student families, delivering developmentally appropriate curriculum by experienced educators, and serving as a practicum site for careers in education students at North and South, which makes this preschool a particularly meaningful program that is one of our 19 CTE programs. Again, congratulations. Congratulations to the Nashua South boys soccer team for winning the Division I championship earlier this month. The Panthers won 2-0 over Hanover High School, making it 2 consecutive state championships. And lastly, congratulations to the Nashua ETV for winning their 3rd place Northeaster Awards at the 2022 Alliance for Community Media Northeast Regional Conference. Pete Johnson accepted the awards at the ceremony held on November 9th, and they were recognized for event coverage by a single camera of the Battle of the Bridge football game, and sports programming category for filming the Division I Girls Basketball Championship. As we are all aware, Nashua ETV also broadcasts live all the BOE meetings. Thanks to Pete, Jim, and all of the Nashua ETV videographers for their support. Again, thank you.
Yes, awesome, thank you. All that yelling into the mic, Jimmy, paid off, huh? He's laughing back there. Okay, thank you for that. Now, it's the board's response to superintendent comments. I'll start with Ms. Oden.
I, too, would like to thank all of the paras, teachers who came here tonight to speak. I am a former paraprofessional here in Nashua, and I'm a former teacher, and I'm new back on the board, and I am a member of the negotiating team, and I'm hoping that we can, like Dr. Andrade said, I'm hoping that we can find a place where we can all agree this Thursday. Let's keep our fingers crossed. But thank you all for coming. Thank you all for what you do for our kids. I know all of you work hard, you care about our kids, and you want to see what's best for them. So thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Claffey.
Congrats to May, and we'll miss you.
Ms. Giglio.
I too began my career here as a para at New Searle School, and here I am now. And I want to thank all of you for bringing forward your day-to-day experiences for those of us who don't know what they are. Having worked as a para, I have some inkling of it, but it was a long time ago. And I worked as a library para, so it wasn't quite as challenging as a lot of what you described tonight. But I, too, hope that we can come to a conclusion on Thursday and that you will all stay with us. And thank you.
Thank you. We'll get to student member comments, but what a sweet scholarship. Get it? Coca-Cola. It's really sweet. Anyway, I'll continue on. Ms. Lamphere?
Hi.
I held on to that one, too. Like, I could have let it go, but I didn't.
So my son needed intensive special needs para at school, and the two paras he had over his school career were incredible women who really worked hard to make sure that he was able to communicate to the best of his ability and enjoyed school and got the most out of the experience that he could. But I wanted to read, for those people who do not know, what a district-wide special education intensive needs para does. Their duties generally include, but are not limited to, toileting, lifting and transferring students who are non-ambulatory, feeding via G-tubes or other specialized medical needs, or are providing consistent or constant intensive behavioral direction or redirection through an individual behavioral intervention plan, and/or providing consistent or constant one-on-one attention or supervision. That's a really hard job. And to do that and make just $14 an hour it's shameful and it's wrong. And I hope that we can pay you guys more of what you deserve. Thank you so much for what you do.
Ms. Darling?
So I'm actually in shock by the feeding through a feeding tube, because up in Maine, when I was a CRMA, a med tech down here, we weren't allowed to touch feeding tubes. It had to be nurses. So, I mean, and I don't know what nurses make in New Hampshire. I know in Maine it's better than an LNA. So I've heard it myself, constantly growing up and today, that if paras want to make more, they should go work at McDonald's. Everything from where they can stand all day and they can be yelled at all day. It's almost as if they don't know what paras really do. My own mama has told me many stories of injuries, of having to de-escalate a child, having to hear all the adults around them give up on this child and refuse to give up. The truth is, it'd be easier work for more pay if you went to McDonald's. But everyone here knows that it takes a very special kind of person to be a para. It's the kind of person who loves their jobs, and they're here for the right reasons, for the kids, the ones that need the most. Such a special kind of person that they will go on for far too long being paid less than a livable wage for far more work than is in their job description. A special enough person to be a superhero, at least my hero. Superheroes are not cost items, and it makes my heart break to hear anyone refer to themselves as a cost item. And I need you all to hear me when I say that I appreciate everything you do for our district, everything, and every child whose hearts you have touched, because I know my own children love their paras, and without them, I would have gone crazy by now. So I hear you, I see you, and my heart's just filled with a lot of joy seeing how many people came out tonight, and I'm really proud of you guys for supporting each other and yourselves. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Brown?
Well, that's a tough act to follow. I have no comment. Thanks.
Ms. Johnson?
Thank you. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight and reading your stories and telling us exactly what goes on in the classroom. I applaud you for coming out. It's not easy standing in front of the board, but I'm not on the negotiating committee, so I have to wait till everything comes before for me to read it to see what they offer everybody. You know, it could be good, it could be bad, but again, thank you for coming out tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you. On to Mr. Sahu. Student board comments, please.
Alrighty. Thank you guys so much for the congratulations and everything regarding scholarships and stuff. Really excited to see how that stuff goes. Nervous, but excited, optimistic. But I'm also hoping that the para-educator negotiations are able to move forward. I've said it a few times at these board meetings, but like I was practically raised by one of the para-educators here in the Nashua School District from Maine Dunstable. So I've seen firsthand like that they really are the district superheroes. So I'm really rooting for you guys. And it seems like, I was just thinking about it, that it seems like such a long time since we've last had a full board meeting with like the Thanksgiving holidays and all of that stuff. So I hope everyone had a happy break with their families. But since then, since the last meeting at Nashua South, we were bless you. At Nashua South, we held a nonpartisan voter registration drive and brought many students to vote in the recent election, which had record youth turnout, by the way, so I was really proud of us over there. And we had a very successful Panther Bowl, which is South's equivalent to Powder Puff, and I'm not sure if anyone here went to either game, but if you didn't, it's up on Nashua ETV. But if you were there, you would have seen Mr. Rogers and I fly as flyers and flipping across the field at Stellos. And yeah, and this last Tuesday, right before break, our senior class officers at South, we held our Out of This World's Homecoming, which was a very big success. So I'm really excited to see the rest of the activities that we have planned for our senior classes. And today marked the first day for most winter sports. So I'm really excited to see South beat North once again at Battle of the Bridge. Although I won't be here to gloat about it. Maybe I'll come in for public comment just to. And for those interested, those students and families interested in raising money for the New Hampshire Special Olympics and would like to participate in the Penguin Plunge at Hampton Beach on February 11th, there's going to be an informational meeting tomorrow, Tuesday the 29th, during E-Block in the auditorium at South. But that's all I have tonight. And I have one more meeting left here on the Horseshoe, which is really sad, but just thank you guys so much for the year so far.
Thank you, Samay. Okay. Wow, one more meeting, that's it? And then we get the new crew? Wow, this is the fastest, longest year ever, huh? Okay. I see people wanting to get up. I'll give you a minute to head out before we start with the boring part of the meeting, the business stuff. So I appreciate you all for coming. Like Christina said, you're seen, you're heard. We appreciate you. Thank you. Go home, go to bed. You have early morning. Sorry, just giving him a minute. Who's the replacement for South?
Dante Castellano.
And North is Warren?
Yes, Warren. I'm not sure his last name.
Warren.
Yeah. So maybe you'll have 2 years with him.
Yeah.
Samay, I need to ask that you please come in during public comment and gloat. Like, that's one of my favorite parts.
Except that North is going to win.
I should probably look up whether my kids
when was
are
the last
North or
time they've
South.
won?
The football games?
Fairgrounds go to North or South?
Okay, I appreciate everybody sticking around. We're going to move on to Committee on Finance and Operations. Ms. Johnson, I will give you the floor.
Thank you. I love the floor. I move to, this is the Committee on Finance and Operations. We met on November 7th, 2022. It seems like a year ago, so long ago. I move to approve the proposal from Sullivan Tire for wheel alignment, lift rack, amount, Perkins grant. How much was the amount? Because were we supposed to get an amount?
It says $21,452. No, that's the second one, sorry.
That's the second one.
I have an eyelash in my head.
No, it's $33,862.
$33,862. We didn't have that time I got the packet. It's $33,862.
Second?
So Ms. Johnson made the motion, Ms. Lampier seconded. Any comments or questions? No? Pretty straightforward.
Straightforward once we got the number.
That's an alignment joke. Come on.
Yeah, I know, straightforward. Yeah, let's keep it wheel straight on the ground.
Keep coming back, folks, I got 100. All those in favor of approving the proposed Sullivan Tire wheel alignment lift rack for $33,862, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
I move to approve the purchase of a video switcher from Access AV at the cost of $21,452. Account is to Perkins grant.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Lampier. Any comments or questions? Seeing none. Actually, Mr. Donovan, do you want to speak to what this will benefit the district, what this will benefit the district with? What this will benefit?
Well, this is to, it's a switcher in the video program, and it's replacing the original switcher. The program's, so this is old equipment at this point. It's technical equipment. So they'd like to purchase it from Access AV because they're the vendor that put together the studio, and they've worked with them on a lot of their, and the pricing's pretty close anyway.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the purchase of the video switcher from Access AV at a cost of $21,452, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
I move to approve the quarterly credit card report.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Lampier. Any comments or questions about the quarterly credit report? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
On the next line item, which has to do with our legal services, I would appreciate if one of the members of the committee could read that motion, because I'm on the fence whether or not I'm going to support it or not.
Okay.
Okay, I'll read it since Jess is writing. If I can find it, hold on a second.
So I'm looking for a motion to approve the rate increase up to $250 per hour for legal services from Wadley, Starr, and Peters.
Yes, I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Claffey. Yeah, I was reading up on this, but it sounds like it's within our budget, Mr. Donovan. Well, not within, but.
Well, I mean, legal costs tend to run over the budget each year, but it's an increase for the services of a certain attorney that we've been using regularly for special ed. So that's what the price is going to be. We can say no and look elsewhere, but I don't think we'll get much less for $250 an hour.
Right. And the level of expertise that comes with this agency is probably unparalleled with our district, so. Do you want to speak to your concerns, Ms. Johnson?
I am a little bit concerned because I'm listening to all the paras in here talking about wages, and we're giving an attorney, and I know that Attorney Bennett is very capable and very confident because he used to be Assistant Corporation Counsel, and I believe he was also counsel at one time. I just have a hard time giving attorneys more money, and so I'm just not going to support this right now. I think it's just not the, I know everybody wants more because of, and we heard it tonight, because of the costs rising. But I just can't do this. I'm sorry. So I'm not going to support this.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Any other comments or questions? Ms. Oden?
I understand where Ms. Johnson's coming from, but when you have special ed cases, none of us in here are qualified to go to court and defend what's going on. I think it's an absolutely necessary fee that we need to pay. It's critical to the district and to our students, our families, and our teachers. So I'm going to support it. Everything else in the world seems to be going up in price, and lawyer fees are along with that. So I'm going to support this.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the rate increase for legal services, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
Ms. Johnson? Okay.
I move to approve the FY23 October budget transfers.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Lampier. Any questions on the fiscal year October budget transfers? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
And that's the end.
That is the end of finance. So Ms. Raymond is not here tonight. Can somebody else from the Committee on Policy read through it's Ms. Johnson and Ms. Darling, right?
Ms. Johnson, would
Darling,
you
do
like
you
to
wanna-
keep the floor?
I'll keep it flowing. Okay, the Policy Committee met on November 15th, 2022. The first policy is JCA, change of school assignment.
Second.
Any comments or questions? There was a lot of redlining in that one, wasn't it? Yeah, that was a lot of policies to read through. You guys did a lot of work. Okay, any comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving policy JCA, change of school assignment, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
I move to approve policy JEC, manifestation of hardship.
I think you want to rescind.
Rescind, are we rescinding that?
Yes.
Oh, I'm looking at the cover sheet. That's why. I move to rescind it.
Second.
Okay. So on the motion to receive policy JEC, manifestation of hardship, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, policy BEDH was indefinitely postponed in committee.
Can you speak to that?
Yeah, I felt that there were some issues in this policy, that we were changing public comment period, what can and cannot be said. I voiced my opinion that we were following in the direction of the Board of Aldermen, which I felt that a lot of it was violating people's First Amendment rights, which the New Hampshire Supreme Court already ruled on. And it was the will of the committee, the majority, that we indefinitely postponed it.
Okay, so it looks like that policy isn't on the agenda for tonight, right?
Let me see. I got so many papers here.
Because you guys motioned to table it? And I think we'll have to
Postponed it.
speak with, I think I have to reach out and work with Dr. Andrade and probably Mr. Posca and our legal department, because there are certain laws that come into effect January 1st that our policies have to reflect, and we need to address that policy in order to be in compliance with the law. So I'll work with administration on how to address making sure that our district is in legal compliance. So
Well,
do you want to
that's what we
continue on?
spoke about when we indefinitely postponed it, basically, that whatever has to be in compliance, we pull out, and we leave the rest of it indefinitely postponed. I mean, if the board, if it says that we have to now provide 30 minutes divided into two 15-minute periods because of state law, of course, that's going to stay in there. But there was just other things that we were meriting the Board of Aldermen.
There were definitely parts that were added in that were not RSA applicable. Those were the bits that we wanted to be able to flesh out more. If we had stayed later, we could have probably been able to present something with some of the changes, but not all.
Okay. What I can do, I've attended several online trainings, like not Wikipedia, what am I? Web-oriented trainings from the New Hampshire School Board Association, where they clearly established what we can and can't corral people into doing or not doing. A lot of it does have to do with objectivity and subjectivity, and how do you do that, and what kind of stuff can be presented to court, what we have no say in doing. I can forward you those PowerPoints, but it kind of mirrored the same thing as what was in the policy, but we'll come back to that in another time. You guys have indefinitely tabled that policy, so we'll just have to
No,
I'll work with
actually, it was
administration on
indefinitely
it.
postponed. There's a difference between that and tabling. So,
That was the vote was to indefinitely postpone?
yes, ma'am.
Isn't that tabling?
It was indefinitely postponed. I put it in my notes here.
Okay. Well, anyway, that'll be some hoops that administration will have to jump through now. So continue on with policy JKAA.
I move to approve policy JKAA, restraint and seclusion.
Do I have a second for that?
Second.
Thank you. And this was one that we had addressed, I think, 2 times already this year, and the last thing, we pulled it back into policy because we wanted to make sure that the trainings that were happening for the restraint and seclusions were certified with the state, and that we had a way of tracking who had the CTI training and how. I know you guys already do this, but we wanted specific information on how do teachers know who are the ones that are responsible for restraint and seclusion, and kind of the documentation of it. So it sounded like it was addressed in the meeting. Okay. Any other further questions on policy JKAA? Seeing none, motion, it was made by Ms. Johnson, seconded by Ms. Darling. All those in favor of approving policy JKAA, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
I move to approve policy JKAA-R, procedure for the use of physical restraint.
Okay, and that's just the paperwork that goes along with this. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving policy JKAA-R, procedure for the use of physical restraint, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Move to approve policy FEE, site selection.
Second.
Thank you. Ms. Johnson, do you want to speak to this really quickly? Because there's, what were the changes from 3342 to FEE?
I've got to look to see what it is. FEE.
Sorry. Mr. Plaska, if you want to speak to it, I bet
it's been a couple.
It's right on the top of your head.
I think all we were doing was updating the site selection piece just to recognize, I think it had been a policy that's about 22 years old, so we're just updating just a couple words to reflect that it's not only the Board of Education, but also the finance and operations piece. So there's some just subtle changes to more accurately reflect who's part of that decision-making process.
Okay. Thank
and
you.
And also, instead of the city planning department, affected city departments, all of them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So just updating. Okay. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor of approving policy FEE, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
Who said nay? Ms. Brown?
No, it wasn't me this time.
You guys are blending together over there. Okay, so that motion passed. Continue on, Ms. Johnson.
I move to rescind policy 23342, site selection.
Second.
Thank you. So rescinding, on the motion to rescind policy 23342, any comments or questions?
When I read through this today, I noticed that the number seems to be a typo error and that it actually was 12231 that we're rescinding. So I read through all the documentation today. I think it was just the numbers are off. It's still the same policy that's going to be rescinded, but
Nope,
unless I'm mistaken.
That matters. Hold on, I'm checking.
I picked that up when I was reading through it.
Mr. Sahu is goading Ms. Giulio.
Yes. I think the piece of it is we had to also more accurately, it had been a number, so we had to rescind the former number and then approve it under FEE.
Yep. But I think what Ms. Giulio is saying is that the original number was 12231, not 2231.
23342. Yeah.
That is correct. The original number is 12231. That's correct. Yep.
So that's the one that we're rescinding. So Ms. Johnson, do you want to amend your motion?
I'll amend my motion to correct the policy number that we're going to rescind is to 12231.
And Mr. Elling, you still support that?
Yeah.
Okay. It's for the notes, for the minutes. So on the motion to rescind policy 12231, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay.
I move to rescind policy 6310, energy management conservation.
Second.
Thank you. You want to speak a little bit to the, oh, it's just rescinding. Never mind. Okay. All those in favor, does anybody have any comments or questions? Seeing none. On the motion to rescind policy 6310, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Ms. Brown, the Committee on Curriculum and Evaluation.
Okay. We had a meeting on November 14th, 2022, and we just have one, we had several good presentations and things to come out of there. We just have one recommendation. I move to approve the high school science course changes as written.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Claffey. Any comments or questions?
We do actually have some of the teachers here who came to present, and they did a fantastic job. Does anyone have any questions for what it entails?
What are the
No, it was a fantastic meeting. You guys are always so in-depth, and
So,
you just,
so a lot of things were changing the prerequisite order for, to give students an option to get to science electives a little bit sooner in their career, and also to make it so that they can have more options to access more specified courses. Is that a good, fairly accurate description?
Yes, and in addition, one of the major changes is to increase the number of required science courses for graduation from 2 to 3 classes. We had Matt Messig and Cheryl Froman, the 2 lead teachers at the high schools here to present, who did an outstanding job in demonstrating that was, about 80% of our students are already taking 3 classes right now. But in addition, the plan includes, as Ms. Brown talked about, the opportunity to expand the pathways and in course offerings for our students, which includes some of our CTE courses and the STEM opportunities that are available there. So I think there's a great opportunity for our students, and I think for the most part, we're already there.
excellent.
And also, I think it gives an opportunity to increase academic rigor by actually requiring the 3 science classes as opposed to this requirement of 2. Thank you for bringing that back up.
Does anybody have any questions for the teachers who have given up their evening to come here? And
Do you guys know I'm going to be in so much trouble when I go home and my son finds out that I was a part of this vote?
Mr. Claffey?
Yeah, I think it's great that you are opening this extra credit up to CTE classes, and I know there's been concern about enrollments there. I think that's wonderful, and I support this wholeheartedly, despite the fact that I might lose a few of my old former social studies friends who might fear that this is going to drain the best subject at the high school, but
All right.
Out of curiosity, what are some of the extra electives?
Yeah, there's a packet.
We have a handout.
I know my thing died, and I brought 3 of the blocks, and all 3 of them are USB blocks instead of the Apple block.
So part of it is right now all students take physical science and biology, so we're opening up the options for the physical science, which leaves some more flexibility. And then we already have a lot of electives in CTE, but we're hoping to offer them at, some of them are offered primarily at the honors level, that we'd open them up to all levels more frequently. But we have, you can help me with the list here, but astronomy, anatomy and physiology, forensics, zoology,
Did you say astronomy?
I did say astronomy. And then for the CTA, it would be things like the biotechnology, computer-aided design, robotics, marine robotics. I know there's more.
Yeah, the nursing program, for instance.
Yeah, fantastic.
And some courses that don't run that often that we think that opening these new pathways, such as like contemporary issues in science, would be a good one for our students as well. I think that's all of them. I'm fairly sure.
And we hope to visit you next fall potentially about some more earth science options like meteorology, for example. So we're already thinking about other courses that we'd like to add.
Fantastic. Thank you guys for staying. I had to say high school science was, sorry, Mr. Claffey, my favorite class.
Economics was neat, and all, but I'm just kidding.
You talked about the 1996 Democratic Convention. You watched every minute. And look at you now.
I was the dorkiest high schooler.
Was?
Sorry, Mr. Simay. Was.
See,
I did. My summers were interesting.
See, me actually, because of Mr. Claffey, now I'm going to be majoring in economics in a year. But but I just wanted to say, I think that like these changes are fantastic. Like we've talked like as a board that like we don't want to like lower our standard of education in the district, rather raise it. And I think this clearly does that. I know at South we have a fantastic science department, so many great teachers. I've taken like 2 credits of science a year, and I'm so bad at science. But we have great teachers that are there to support our students, and I'm really excited to see how this helps students like when this is implemented.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm excited. Thank you, guys. So all those in favor of approving the high school science course changes as written, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. And just for clarification, Ms. Brown made the motion and Mr. Claffey seconded it. Okay. Thank you, guys. On to the Committee on Human Resources.
We met earlier this evening, and I would like to move to suspend the rules to consider items from the HR meeting held earlier this evening.
I'll second.
Thank you, Ms. Oden. All those in favor of suspending the rules, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
I move that we approve the personnel recommendations of November 28th, 2022, with the changes amended to change 2 dates, but none of the other. It was just a week here and a week there.
I'll second.
Okay. So and that was seconded by Ms. Oden. So on the motion to approve the personnel recommendations of November 28th, 2022 as amended, right? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. On to liaison reports. I hear Ms. Lampier has the JSSBC update.
Yes, I do. So the JSSBC meeting is always interesting and kind of fun. So we talked about the Brian S. McCarthy School first, and the Antonio Drive is completed, so all the traffic is now coming from Buck Meadow, which is good for the people in Medallion Street. I think they're probably pretty happy about that. The electrical service is in progress. They're hoping to have it all wired up temporarily by the end of November. they're building it in 4 different parts. So the first one that they started, it actually really looks like a building now. They are putting the windows in on the lower level next week and starting the interior drywall in December. At Pennachuck, the gym is complete now, and the paving is all finished around the school, so it looks great. They did that on election day. The Learning Commons will be started in December. Fairgrounds, the only thing going on there is some HVAC upgrades over Thanksgiving and Christmas break. And when we had the meeting, they were getting ready for all the inspections and stuff at Franklin Street, which apparently went pretty well since Franklin Street's now open. Yeah, that's pretty much the highlights. Oh, about Franklin Street, they did put in some electric signs, and they changed the traffic pattern around the school. So I'm kind of curious to see how that went the first week. I hope it went well. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, on to, do we have any unfinished business, Dr. Andrade? Nope. Okay, so we are going into new business. But there are 2 things here that we can talk about in public, and then we have 3 things that are non-public. Do we want to take a break after the BOE meeting list for second public comment, or do we want to come back in and do public comment after our non-public? Our normal consensus is we do public comment, and then we just wrap up in non-public.
Yes, that's the.
Nobody's on it? Okay, that's good.
Okay. Mr. Marcoux?
No?
Okay. Okay, so we will go on to new business. I will hand the floor over to Dr. Andrade.
Thank you. So in your packet, you have the official October 21, the official 22-23 enrollment numbers. So hopefully you had a chance to review that. But you can see that we have a declining enrollment in our schools. For total students in the district for 22-23, it's 9915. So that's a difference of approximately 223 students from last year. So also in one of my weekly reports, I analyze some of the data, and that we noticed that, there's a perception that there's a lot of students leaving in 5th grade going to 6th grade. But if we actually watch some of the cohort data from K through 5, there's actually a big exodus in elementary school even prior to 5th grade. And I don't know, again, it's kind of COVID years, so did students leave and not come back? But the perception that kids or families are leaving 5 to 6, our data actually shows kids are actually leaving in elementary school and then returning back in high school. So if there's any questions on this data.
I was wondering if you have any theory as to why Mount Pleasant has lost so many kids. That's minus 73, if I'm reading the right line.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why. That's a huge number that was glaring to us, so we're having those kind of conversations of what happened to those families.
Okay, all right.
Ms. Oden?
Yeah, do we have any idea if maybe some of these cases, maybe people can't find affordable housing?
So we haven't analyzed that deeply. We try to do a lot of exit interviews of why people are moving, or if they're transferring schools, what's the rhyme and the rationale. So some of it is just, again, 223 students from K through 12. Seems like a lot, but with 10,000 students, it's, again, I think the biggest number was at Mount Pleasant. But other schools, it's -4, -2, -5, which isn't a big number as well. So, but we try to do as many exit interviews as we can of why families are leaving the district.
But we do have increases at some of our schools, so it's not all.
Yep, so Amherst is up 26 students, Bicentennial's up 21 students, Charlotte's up 15 students, so.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Claffey?
Could it be that because St. Christopher is right next door, that it's an easy
It could
switch
be.
for some parents to make?
I didn't know if it was because of the Bronstein, perhaps, if that was the district. I'm not really sure about the school districts. I didn't know if Mount Pleasant was.
I think,
I'm not
no,
sure.
I think Bronstein went to Mount Pleasant, right?
No, I'm pretty sure they went to Ledge.
But
Okay,
they split
thanks.
them up on Pine Street. You would know. Why am I challenging you? I don't know who you think you are, Mr. Donovan. Okay. Yeah, that's just fascinating research anyway. Just the movement of people, why we can't find anybody to work anywhere, where are the kids going, where are the families going. That's just, that's nationwide at this point. So anyway, I digress. Ms. Johnson?
Thank you. Because I'm looking at Ledge Street, and they lost 27 students, according to this, the difference. But also, I had asked for a history sheet because to go down to 9,950 students, when you see where we were, to come down to this low point, because in 2017, we were 11,075 students. Now, we're down to 9,915, and we're doing a lot of renovations on schools. And I also was in contact through Dr. Andre with Jonathan, because in 2021-22, we had on the official October sheet enrollment 10,138, and then on another sheet there was for 2022 was 10,396, was a difference of 258 students. So when you look at this, you really have to start doing that comparison on what the numbers are, because one sheet shows one, and then you see that there was like 454 students other. Those are just where they've gone, like they might be part-time in the schools or maybe out of district. Am I correct, Dr. Andre? So I think that the reflection that we really need to find out where are our students going. We're doing a lot of renovations in this city, and we want to make sure that we have students to go in our buildings here. You know, especially where we have this brand-new school all the way out on the southwest quadrant off of Buck Meadow. Because I remember when I got on this board, it was going to be sliced in thirds, 800 here, 800 here, 800 there. That school, that's what the argument kind. But you know you can never have it equal. There's no such thing as equal when you have students on how you redistrict. You can't, because students move in, they move out, and it could be moving around the city. Now where the interest rates are so high, there's not as lot of movement in home selling and buying. So this might just hold us for a little bit to see where we are at this point in time. But I think this number, 9,915 students, is very reflective of what's going on in the district, why. And I'm hoping now that Franklin Street we can get in there to see that school. That's my next school I'd like us to tour.
Yeah, so I can coordinate another bus tour, whether it's Franklin Street and some other schools, but we're going to give them a week to get settled. I was there last week, and they were working really hard, so we'll let them get settled first.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Go back to the front. Okay, next up is the Board of Education 2023. We don't need a motion on that, do we? Dr. Andre? No, didn't think so. Board of Education 2023 BOE meeting list. Did everybody take a look at the calendar? Does it make sense? Are we missing any glaring holidays for the scheduled Mondays? I didn't see any, but that's why we have 9 people here. None? Okay. All right. So I think we don't need a motion on this because it follows our policy. So we can now go into non-public if we don't have any other questions. Okay, so I need a motion to go into non-public at 7:50.
So moved.
Thank you, Ms. Gilio. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Lampier. We are now going into non-public at 7:50. Why don't we take a Well, I was going to say, anybody who needs to take a quick break.
Do we have to say
Take a-
why we're going to non-public? Before we do that?
We are talking about personnel issues, student assignment, superintendent evaluation, and para contract updates.
And only because I'm new at this, do we have to do that by roll call?
Technically, yes.
So maybe we should,
Yep.
before, hey, Neil,
Sorry, okay.
Okay.
One,
We
two,
still have a
three,
quorum.
4, 5. We have 5. Ms. Oden on the motion to go into non-public? Yes. I say yes.
Yes.
Ms. Lampier? Yes. Ms. Darling? Yes. Ms. Brown?
yes.
Ms. Johnson?
Yes.
Okay. We are now officially in non-public as of 7:51.